The following video, believe it or not, is not referring to any particular quasi-historical account in any fantasy work, legend, belief system, mythology, or religion. Here we go. I might have said some of those words twice, but you get the idea. It's not related to it. Past the 66th latitude, in both the north and south, in the Arctic and Antarctic circles. The Arctic Circle can be declared as a location where the sun is above the horizon for 24 continuous hours, or missing from the sky for 24 hours, one day in a year, each. Almost exactly opposing each other. Sometimes it's not. It depends on how you measure whether the sun is visible, whether or not it's completely dark. You get the idea. If the Antarctic Circle is the region where the sun is above the horizon for 24 continuous hours, at least one day a year, this would represent an area of quote-unquote solid ground where you could have a day without a sun on another time of the year. In the ocean, if you're on the pack ice, also if you're just simply above the 66th latitude, you can be on dry ground or semi-dry ground, also actual hunks of the continent, where you can have a day without a sun and a day with nothing but sunlight for 24 hours, where you can literally see the sun, not just a little bit above the horizon, but fully visible. Okay, at 62 degrees north or 62 degrees south latitude, not longitude. In the Arctic or Antarctic circles, from September and March equinox at the North Pole, or from March to September equinox at the South Pole. That's apparently correct information. I'm not sure. Somewhere during those time periods. You can have, depending on where you're standing and which one of them it is, you will have during one of those equinox. I'm directly quoting somebody I think got this wrong, but I'm just going to do it mostly for humorous purposes. You will have, on one side of the planet, a continuous 24-hour sunlight day, on the other side, continuous darkness. Okay. For several months, if close to the poles past 66 degrees latitude, there is a continuous visible sun or a continuous night. I'm saying that repeatedly different ways. It's 66 fucking degrees. Okay, let's continue. Now, if a new moon is in conjunction, as in near the sun, it's invisible everywhere on Earth because of the overblown effect of the sunlight, even near or after or before sunrise and sunset. Okay? Its silhouette can go over the sun, and that makes a solar eclipse. This is the reason you have no moon, and then suddenly the sun is covered. One of the reasons people would consider this an extremely bizarre and mysterious experience, it might freak them out until they realized, was that they couldn't see anything that could cover it, and then suddenly it was being covered or eaten. And depending on the different phase changes, it would completely obscure the sun, or just make the sun turn into a black hole sun. If the moon can stay above or below the horizon for a couple of weeks, depending on your latitude, and or if the sun can stay above or below the horizon for a couple of months, and or if they're both near each other, then can the sun and moon both be invisible from the sky for 24 hours? Also, bonus points, can the sun and moon both be visible from the sky for a 24-hour period of time in another possible combination? Can this happen? Is being wrong or misremembering more sane of a conclusion than needing a vast conspiracy, a cover-up, holographic moons and suns, or they have some secret plan that you can't even rationalize or explain? A drastic rearrangement of reality itself, Mandela effect. Which one of these is more sane? You being wrong about something because you didn't look up something that happens either incredibly rarely or only if you're in a very specific area where literally people experience it every goddamn year and know what they're talking about, you don't? Which one of these is based on your ego being bruised by being told you are wrong? Which one of these is the rational behavior? In Joshua 10, 12 through 13, depending on the reinterpretation and rewrite of the book you're looking up, the sun stood still in the sky for around a day. Also, other versions say it did it for an extended period of time. Others say it simply seemed to hang in the same spot in the sky longer than it should, but that's based on something else. This is known via recopying and reprinting from oral retranslations, retransliteration, and retellings for a 2,000-year period of time. But it must be flawless because somebody out there wants you to dump money in that little bucket at the building. 1970s NASA has to be baffled by an 1890s scientist creating proof by making a claim and not providing evidence that yes, the sun stood still or the sun was invisible for 24 hours someplace. That isn't even specified in the original work. Yes, I know it says it is, but if you actually read the original Cone Greek, Aramaic, and Hebrew that it was based on, that are usually kept hidden away somewhere in the Vatican or just at your local college, you'll find out it didn't actually say a damn thing that you thought it did. Kings, 2 Kings, 20:8 through 11. The sundial's shadow shifted 10 degrees, or 18 times the sun's angle, which is about half a degree. But that's just a 40-minute time error if you're making a mistake while being the timekeeper. Oh, that one gets translated accurately in most cases, but the other one just talks about it being standing still for a day. Having the day appear to be 40 minutes longer because of a clerical error equals miracle. Versus actual occurrences on the planet where someone says, yeah, I live in, some, Bork area on the planet, or Bjork, depending on how you pronounce it. And you're, in Greenland or Iceland or whatever, or the South or North Pole in a ship. And you state, yeah, I've experienced an entire day without a sun, and also a day with nothing but sunlight. There was no night. And someone says, you're attempting to steal thunder from God or something like that, versus them saying, no, I'm doing a stream and I've been doing 24 hours and the sun hasn't gone down because I work at the South Pole and I'm related to WAPTEC. Someone threatens someone, you're trying to disprove the Bible, or whatever the hell. Some ignorant fuck who was turned into the police mysteriously because they posted on a fucking stream about a relative of mine. No one out there is trying to disprove your stupid book. Don't have to. It does it itself. It's gone through many, many rewrites, many fucked up rewrites. And most of them were done for very Trumpian reasons. I like throwing Trump under the bus every single video, and I'm going to keep doing it because he deserves to have that happen in videos. Yes, past the 66 latitudes, and you can go look up what hunks of dirt are there, you can experience the midnight sun. You can also experience the midday darkness. And you can also find out whether or not you can also have the moon only visible or the sun only visible for that period of time. Or combinations. Your homework assignment, all of you part of Fight Club, or Byte Club, BYTE, is to go get a piece of software that simulates these now very well understood cycles and just learn about it. I'm not going to provide a link to it. Have fun getting your apps. Just make sure they're free and accurate. It doesn't matter which one. You'll probably be using a cell phone. Fine. You could also just look this up off of someone's blog who studied it. I will leave links below in the description. But most of them are going to go to Wikipedia because Wikipedia pisses off just the right kind of people. Because they need to be pissed off chronically. They need to be aggravated by people pointing out that I link to Snopes. And you can claim or scream at the top of your lungs, fake news. I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. It makes me feel bad. Again, what's more rational? Or what's more humble? Or what's more respectable? You acknowledging that you're simply fallible as a human, and that the statements in your supposedly infallible work are just simply wrong, or that it really was just an error by a clerical error, don't call them clerics. That gives them too much respect. a 40-minute time error because someone forgot to flip a fucking hourglass or pay attention to the angle on something, or just typed up something or wrote something wrong and a year later found that they were wrong by 40 fucking minutes in a day, but that somehow is a miracle. Instead of just humans making dumb human mistakes. When and where was the sun and moon missing for 24 hours, or the opposite? Or any combination of them? And can you look this up and use facts, citations, proof, and yes, to sting your ego, a Wikipedia article link or and a Snopes link, if you want to. But can you find these timings? Is it acceptable? And no, some scientists weren't baffled, and a religious, faithful scientist didn't get it right. A person made a claim in the 1890's about somebody even further back in time. Basically, it was just someone doing a rage bait story back in the 1890's. It is fantastically life and death important to get the cycles of the moon and stars correct if you're navigating the damned ocean. Getting this information wrong because you choose to ignore a piece of data has actually sent people off into, Narnia, as we call it on the internet, but sent them off some pathway where they never returned, and the ship was found 100 years later at the bottom of the sea somewhere where it didn't belong because they didn't navigate correctly, because they used faith-based navigation. No, I'm not kidding. That's actually happened a couple of times. People trying to prove the infallibility of a book that's ignorant of 90% of what we need to know to do some basic shit these days. Even back in the 1800s. Some people died because of this shit. Hell, finding North and South America was an accident because someone decided to assume that the ocean just went around and there was no continent in the way. No, the ancients don't know more than we do because we can literally point a fucking camera down at the planet and map the planet. No, somebody who got a message from God, or he was on peyote, doesn't have better knowledge or wisdom than us being able to fact check them and find out it was a 40-minute discrepancy. Fucking take your L. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.